Hi! Okay, so I don't really know who will be watching this. I feel like I say this at the beginning of like every single one of my blog posts, except I say, I don't know who's gonna be reading this. I should probably stop saying that. I really just started this blog for myself because I just kind of wanted a way to get out my thoughts and kind of just put it out there, and whoever else is going through the same thing as me or is just really bored and happens to find themselves on my blog, then maybe they can like entertain themselves in some way. So today what I'm going to be talking about is it's going to be like a vegan video. So if you're not 100%, you don't want to listen to me talk about that, then you can just find your way somewhere else. So I wanted to blog about this and like kind of write it out, but I have a lot to say and I am kind of too lazy and I don't really feel like doing that. So I decided I would just videotape myself. And so I guess the reason why I really wanted to start this video is because it is such a foreign thing in my family and just kind of in the community that I'm in to be vegan, because it's not really a huge thing here. Everyone really loves their meat, especially in Texas, and especially coming from a Hispanic household and family. Meat, cheese, dairy, everything is just such a huge staple part of our culture and things we eat, and especially being in Texas, Tex-Mex is huge here. But I am vegan, and I'm honestly really happy with my decision to go vegan. So I guess the whole reason for why I'm starting this video is because I just got back from a small beach trip and I was around my family, and I love my family. They're great, they're amazing, they're caring, they care about me, but just they don't really support me being vegan. So sometimes it can be a little bit hard. For anybody who's watching this that doesn't know how, when, or why I went vegan, I'm just gonna do like a quick brush over for why I did. So I went vegan probably around over a year ago in March. It was right after I got home from spring break in San Francisco. I had been experiencing a lot of stomach issues after eating meat, and it kind of runs in my mom's side of the family that we have really sensitive stomachs, and so it was just kind of starting to hit me. I was just waking up like feeling horrible and throwing up, and it was always after I had meat or dairy. So I went to the doctor just to make sure that nothing was wrong. And she said nothing was wrong with me, just maybe that I have like a really sensitive stomach. So I talked to my mom about it, and she told me that my grandma and her both experienced it, like kind of around like my age also. I went a week not eating meat, and then went to San Francisco, was there, had meat, and the exact same thing happened to me. So I kind of was already going down the path of like making the decision that I was going to cut meat out of my diet, but it wasn't for any moral reasons or anything. Like, I always loved animals, but I mean, that wasn't initially the reason why I was going to cut out meat. So then, since I was still in high school whenever it happened, there was a high school teacher that was vegan, and like she would leave like PETA pamphlets everywhere. And so one day I just kind of found one on the ground, and I started reading it and kind of started just reading a brief overview that the pamphlet had given over kind of how the meat industry is, and also not just the meat industry but the dairy industry. And so it kind of distressed me and made me really sad reading about this, and it kind of just ultimately pushed me to just be like official and say, yeah, I'm gonna cut out meat. So I started, but before I really cut out meat or anything from my diet, I did my research, I watched videos, and so I was just reading about the meat industry, and I just really did not agree with it. I didn't agree with how they were handling the animals, how they were raising them, all that type of stuff. And I know that not every single person in the meat industry or people on a farm like kill the animals or raise the animals in such horrible conditions, but just knowing that such a huge part of the industry did do that really bugged me, and I just knew that I just couldn't have meat anymore. And so then I started researching more about the dairy end, and it kind of just pushed me to stop wanting dairy. A few days probably after coming back from San Francisco, I just came home and I was like, I'm gonna go vegan. And then probably about like an hour later, I ate an entire bag of Doritos, And then I was like, no, I'm really gonna do this. So I called my friend, told her I had a bunch of like junk food if she wanted it to come get it. So she came over, she got all of it, and it was out of my house. And when my parents came home, I told them that I was vegan. And of course, they didn't believe me. They just assumed that this was just a little phase. And my dad was like, oh, it's just a fad. Like, it's a young people thing. It's gonna end anyway. So they didn't really say anything about it. But then probably about a month went by, and I hadn't had any dairy, any meat. And I guess that's whenever they realized that, oh, like, she's actually like trying to do this. That is kind of how and why it all began. And whenever I first went vegan, my dad would make a bunch of jokes. He still makes jokes, but he would make a bunch of jokes, and it would really, really annoy me. And one of the things that he told me that I still really hold on to today, people are going to like be very judgmental, and they're gonna joke, and they're gonna tease you, and they're gonna push you and try and get you to stop being vegan, and like constantly like disagree with your views. So you might as well start getting used to it. And honestly, he was right. And all throughout college, people were either very supportive of me and very happy to hear that I was vegan, or they were very against it. And he was right. I got a lot of jokes, a lot of teasing, a lot of judge, but I just kind of had to get used to it because that's how it was gonna be. You know, for over a year, I was used to all the jokes and everything, but it wasn't until recently that I really started to just get annoyed with, I guess, constantly hearing it and constantly just receiving the hate for it. So I guess that's kind of why I want to make this video and just kind of talk about what's bothering me and kind of why it's bothering me and why I just don't understand why people are doing this. So I guess one of the things that really bugs me is that people get mad that I'm vegan, and I know for anybody else who's out there that is vegan knows and like has been through this. I have always been the type of person where I do not push my views onto other people. If they ask for my beliefs and everything, I will tell them. Duncan. Sorry, my dog is playing with his toy. But yeah, like a lot of people just get so angry at me, and I've received so much backlash for going vegan, and that is just something that really I just really do not understand. Because I'm not hurting anybody. In fact, I'm doing the opposite. I'm not eating animals. I'm not taking in their animal byproducts, nothing like that. So it really confused me as to why so many people were angry with the fact that I was going vegan, especially because I didn't push my views onto them. You know, if I was baking something or making food, I would be like, oh, it is vegan if you want some, just like heads up. And either people would be like, ew, no, I don't want it, or they'd be like, oh yeah, like I'm down to try it. But it just really never made sense to me to why people get so mad at me for going vegan. It's like, this is my decision, and it's what I'm putting into my body and for my own morals, and I really just don't understand why people get mad. I have friends that get so angry at the fact that I'm doing this, and it really just makes no sense to me. So if you're a person out there that gets really mad at other people for being vegan, vegetarian, anything like that, I really push it on you to just try to understand why the person you're getting mad at is doing what they are doing. And if you still don't agree with it or still don't want to do that at the end of the day, that's fine. But you have no reason to get mad, especially if they're not trying to force their views onto you. Going off of that topic, don't try and push non-vegan things onto vegans. I feel like a lot of times people find it funny to try and accidentally get me to slip up and have dairy, or try and get me to like kind of like shoving meat into my face. I don't find that funny. I can handle seeing meat and I can handle seeing dairy products because I've been around it for the past 19 years. So it's very normal to me. But of course, like right now, like at this point or stage in me being vegan, seeing a lot of excess meat and like blood, it makes me very uncomfortable. So I'm cool with like just like not really paying attention to other people eating it, it being kind of a little bit of it being around me. But if you like were to force it into my face, like it has happened to me, I don't find that funny, and I don't find it cute, and it needs to stop. If you do that, I really, really strongly like push you to just like not do that. Another thing, I guess, I was just recently at the beach and I had rice, and I didn't know who made it. I thought my mom made it, and we had brought vegetable broth with us, but it was another family member and she used chicken broth. And everyone in my family knows that I'm vegan. I didn't know that there was anything in it because it's, you know, it's such a rice, it's just rice, you know? I wouldn't really think much of it. They told me there was no butter or anything in it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have it. So I ate it, and the next day, I overheard my family talking about it. They're like, oh yeah, like Alyssa like ate the rice and she really liked it. And then the person who made it was like, oh yeah, but it had like chicken broth in it. And then like another one of my family members laughed and was like, haha, I love it, because they thought it was funny that I slipped up, or, you know, I ate something that wasn't vegan, and they laughed about it. I personally do not find that funny at all, and I would have really appreciated it if she or my family member would have just come up to me, even after I'd already eaten it, and been like, Alyssa, like there's chicken broth in that. I would not have gotten mad. I would have just been like, okay, I won't eat it. I mean, I would have been like a little bit with the fact that I did have it, as I was when I found out that there was chicken broth, but I really did not appreciate them laughing at the fact that that happened to me, because I don't eat that stuff. So I guess another thing that I would like to say, kind of going off of that, is that if you have any vegan friends, and if you're, or if you know, and like you're having, like you're hosting like a little party or like a get together, and there's going to be food and a meal, let them know what you're going to eat, because that's just what I like to do. Whenever I'm going to a family gathering, I always ask what there's going to be, not because I want them to have to make vegan food and make everybody else eat it, but just in case there isn't anything for me to eat, then I can just eat before or bring my own stuff. I really don't care. So if you're ever going to be doing that, I really like just recommend just telling like your vegan or vegetarian friend what's going to be at the thing, so that they can prepare it. And honestly, like, you don't even have to do anything else. I don't expect people to do anything else, and honestly, most vegans and vegetarians won't expect it either. They'll just come prepared. The next thing that I kind of want to talk about is that really bothers me is whenever people test me and try and catch me doing something not vegan, which I kind of talked about on my, like the one that I was just talking about before. So this happens to me all the time. People are like, oh, Alyssa, but that's not vegan. One time I was eating Oreos. Oreos are vegan, by the way. They're terrible for you. Nothing in it is real, but they are vegan. And I just wanted to have a little snack, an unhealthy snack, so I had some Oreos. And every single time I do, people are like, that's not vegan, like, ha, caught you, in that exact tone and voice. And every single time I'm like, no, they are vegan. I've done my research. Ha. 9 out of 10 times that I say that to somebody, people are always like, why are you giving such an attitude, like, blah, 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 this and this and this and this. And it's like, well, you're trying to like catch me in something, which really makes me mad, because it's kind of like, if you're my friend or if you're my family member, then you should be trying to support me and not waiting for me to mess up, which I think is, besides like being vegan, I think is a horrible thing that people do, is that they wait for someone to fall or for someone to fail, and then they just like go crazy with that, and they rub it in their face, and they feel happy about it, when it's like, why? So yeah, it's just always really bothered me that people just sit and wait for someone to fail whenever they're trying really hard to like accomplish a goal that they're going for. I just think it's rude, and if you really genuinely care about someone, then you won't find joy in that person falling. Another thing is that one of my friends one time, love her to death, but one of my friends one time was like, I just thought of something that I know for a fact is not vegan and that you've been using. And I was like, okay, what? Genuinely curious. If someone tells me that something that I'm using is not vegan, I would really like to know, because I do my research on every product that I'm using, and I try and find the most updated source that will say whether or not it is cruelty-free, vegan, everything like that. And if someone does know that something that I am using is not vegan, I would like to know so that I could stop using it. So I was genuinely curious whenever she told me this, and she was like, all of your makeup products, I know you're not using vegan products or cruelty-free products. And I was like, actually, for the past 2.5, 3 years, I have been using cruelty-free products, because I started using cruelty-free makeup at least from my sophomore year of high school. And I've been reading a lot and like researching on the makeup industry and how like they were testing on animals, and the fact that we don't need to be testing on animals anymore, and how in reality, like, the reason why so many companies that are huge and have so much money test on animals is because a huge audience is in China, and China requires makeup companies to test on animals. So when I found out that the reason why so many of these companies were testing on animals was because that they could sell to China, that made me really mad because it's all about money. So I told her that, and I was like, I've been using cruelty-free products for a really long time. And so then she was like, oh, dang, like I thought I caught you there. I'm not pretending to be vegan in any way. Like, I'm not just saying that I'm vegan, but like on the down low, I'm like eating meat and eating cheese and like using like all these like popular products that do test on animals. That's not what I'm doing. The point of me to doing this is so that I can cause as little harm to living creatures as possible. When she kind of said that, it made me mad for like a split second, and then she was like, but really though, like I am proud of you for what you're doing. And I was like very thankful towards that. But the fact is that there are a lot of people that want to catch me in what I'm doing, and they don't understand and they don't care about what I'm doing, and that's what really makes me sad. So that's another thing. If you are friends with someone vegan, stop trying to constantly catch them and just be supportive of them. Even if you do not 100% agree with what they are doing, then just don't say anything. That's my whole thing, is that if you don't agree with it, that's fine. Just like keep your mouth shut, please. And I'll keep my mouth shut about the fact that I don't agree with you eating meat or eating dairy products or using cruel products, because people don't like to hear that. People don't like to see videos of the animals that they're eating getting killed. I understand that, because you just want to sit down and enjoy your meal. If you're going to sit there and constantly judge me, then you kind of have to expect me to get a little bit offended or maybe say something back about their lifestyle. But yeah, so I guess is that, you know, if you do see someone slip up and you know they're slipping up, tell them, and tell them in a nice way so that they know that you're telling them because you're supporting them rather than because you're wanting to knock them down. One of my best friends, Catherine, she's always been extremely supportive of me going vegan. She eats meat and she eats dairy, but I mean, she has never tried to force anything on me. She's been very open to it. She likes to try vegan stuff with me, and I very much appreciate that. So shout out to Catherine. She has saved me multiple times, especially in the beginning of me being vegan. Whenever I'd be about to eat something, she'd be like, no, Alyssa, like that has dairy in it. Like I know it has dairy in it. She's been like really good. Or even if like she's seen me about to slip up, which has happened, which I feel like has happened to anybody who is first going vegan, she is always like, no, Alyssa, like you've come so far, don't eat that. I appreciate someone who is supportive of me, even if they are not living the same type of lifestyle. So just, if you're not being like that, really try and be like that, because it would be much appreciated to the people that you care about that are vegan or vegetarian or whatever they are. Another thing that I do not appreciate with this whole vegan thing is a lot of people ask me why I'm vegan, not because they care. Like they ask me in the way that it's very obvious that they're annoyed with the fact that I'm vegan. And I can tell that anything that I'm about to say is not going to matter to them. They're going to try and counter my argument. They're going to just be very defensive and rude about everything, and they're just going to constantly be like just judgmental and not really listen to what I have to say. That's something that I've experienced a lot, and I know other people don't appreciate it either. If you're going to ask something to anybody, ask because you're actually genuinely curious about why they're doing something, about why they believe in something, or just whatever you have to ask. Make sure it's because you genuinely want to know and care, not because you just want to try and bring them down, because that's just not right in any way, not even about being vegan. Whenever you want to know someone else's opinion, I definitely do not see anything wrong in asking people, but just have an open mind and only ask if you are ready to hear an answer that does not 100% agree with what you believe. Because in reality, when you hear other people's views, it makes you even more intelligent and knowledgeable on the topic that you're talking about. I had something I wanted to say. Oh, I remember what I want to talk about. Yes, I am vegan, but I am still learning and I am still transitioning. while yes, it has been over a year and it has been a great year and I've learned a lot about food, I've learned a lot about myself and what I believe in, I definitely do not know everything, and I've never claimed to know like everything about being vegan, because in reality, for the longest time, while I've been not eating meat and dairy, I've still had fish in my diet because I'm extremely anemic, and my mom was she didn't know a lot about veganism and kind of freaked out on me, so I told her that I would keep fish into my diet, but I am completely getting it out, which I honestly, in my opinion, think that it is fine, because for 18 years I had not been vegan or even vegetarian, and so 1 year in reality compared to like 18 years of always eating meat and dairy is not that long of a time, so I'm still transitioning, but this year I am going to completely cut out fish. It'll be out of my diet, and at first I thought that it was going to be really hard, but it's actually going to be a lot easier because my roommate is also vegan. She's one of my good friends, and I keep getting lucky with like all these people in my life who are vegan and vegetarian. Like one of my best friends, Maria, is vegetarian. She's been vegetarian way longer than I've been vegan. Carla's actually been vegetarian longer than I've been vegan. Patrick is also vegetarian. I think we have been like not eating meat for the same amount of time. So I've gotten really lucky with the people in my life, especially the significant people in my life, not eating meat. It definitely helps. So that will aid me in trying to completely get fish out of my diet. But yeah, and then another thing is purses and clothing, and especially shoes. That will be hard. I've been trying. I don't buy leather products. I try and make sure the things that I'm wearing don't have suede in them, wool, everything like that. So yeah, that's just kind of what I wanted to talk about, and as you can see, this video ended up being really long, so if you ended up sitting through this entire thing, go you. Yeah, so obviously this video kind of ended up being long, and by kind I mean it 100% ended up being long, so that's why I didn't want to type, because I know I would have left something out. I kind of ramble, and even in my writing, because I write how I talk, and I ramble a lot, and I just kind of put it all out there, because most of the time I don't even know what I'm about to say, so that's why I created, like I showed you guys earlier, I created this checklist so that I could try and not ramble as much. But in reality, I kind of knew this video was going to be long because this is a really heavy topic. Everything that I talked about, just anybody out there who just has people that they care about that are vegan or vegetarian, just be supportive of them, even if you don't agree. If that's what they want to do, if they're doing that because it's making them happy, and you see that they're doing this in a healthy way, then like just push them to like do it if that's what they want to do. Yeah, I guess just thanks for watching this video, and if you read my stuff, keep reading it, because I have more stuff that I will be talking about, because I have a cruise coming up and school is going to be starting, and the organization that I'm in is going to be like starting off again, so I'm going to have a lot to say. So if you take any interest in my life or any of my views and are just bored or whatever, then keep reading, and that is all I have to talk about today, so bye!